Well, hello everyone. I want to speak briefly about atonement, and especially a day of atonement. For those of you who aren't necessarily familiar with a day of atonement, this was something that brought about through Moses with the Jews as they wandered in the wilderness. And the Exodus happened sometime around 1491 BC. And in Exodus 30, it tells us that the Jews were to take a day and sacrifice a bull. And that bull was to be taken outside the camp. It's kind of a symbol of getting the sin away from the people. But the blood was brought back in and was put onto the mercy seat in the tabernacle. And so that was kind of a very symbolic. So that's a Day of Atonement, but it's different from the Day of Atonement. For us, as Christians, the Day of Atonement was the day that Christ was on the cross. He was atoning through his blood and putting that blood on the mercy seat in heaven that atoned for us for all time. And it was difficult in the first century after Jesus ascended into heaven for many of the Jews to let go of something like a Day of Atonement. They couldn't see it as the Day of Atonement. And so they wrestled with the fact that if they accepted Christ as their Savior and became Christians, they were oftentimes ostracized by their fellow Jews. Sometimes even their own family members would no longer talk to them or would treat them as if they were Gentiles. And this has always been a kind of a problem. In fact, the writer of Hebrews is writing that whole letter to the Jews to say, don't be discouraged about all the persecution that you're going through for being a Christian, because Jesus has made this atonement, the one and only atonement that will be for us a way of eliminating the sin in our lives. So Paul kind of brings that point up in Romans 3. I'll just read a couple verses here. This is 3rd chapter, 29 and 30. Or is God the God of Jews only? Is he not the God of Gentiles also? Yes, of Gentiles also. If indeed God is one, and he will justify the circumcised by faith and the uncircumcised through faith. Now, I got excited when I read that because of those two little prepositions. And if you know me, you know I love prepositions. I get excited. I realize that's strange, but that's who I am. So it says that the Jews or the circumcised will be justified by faith. That's the little word ek, by. It means that they are saved by a faith that's interior. The Jews had a heritage of God being with them through Abraham and Moses and David and all the history that they had. That history was in them. And the culmination of that was the Messiah, the coming of the Messiah. Gentiles, who are us, by the way, don't have that kind of a history and an understanding. And so they are justified through faith. This is the little word, I want to get this right. It's dia, D-I-A. And it means from the center out. So even though that may sound like a very similar thing for ek, for it to come from interior, it really has a lot to do with geometry. And if you stop to think about a circle, when we draw a line through a circle, right through the center point, we call it the diameter. Dia meaning through, a line through the center. And so we Gentiles, rather than calling upon a history and a faith from our heritage, we get our justification through Christ. So we embrace the Day of Atonement. The Jews remember a Day of Atonement. So I hope this little look at what atonement means, and especially these exciting prepositions: in, by, through, from, of. Oh, that's where I live. God bless you.